Christian McCaffrey, running back 39, 99 rush attempts, 452 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 37 receptions, 41 targets, 343 yards, 1 TD. Your thoughts on CMC?
When healthy, I think CMC is still a top 5 back in this league. I don't think we're ever going to see that historic run from him again. But um, another guy, we're 2 years removed from him being like truly fantasy relevant because of these injuries that keep popping up. So,
Right.
and the scary thing is they're soft tissue injuries, right? Like it's not a broken bone where maybe it's a fluke thing and it heals back and everything else. We've seen a history of this where once soft tissue injuries creep up, they um, continue to go on and nag, and it's almost like he spends too much time in the weight room, right? And his body can't fully recover before game day. So I have shares of Christian McCaffrey. I am not actively looking to move him playing off the upside, but at the same time, if the right value came around, I would also trade him. He's a guy who's going to go in the first round of fantasy drafts in any type of redraft format. Really, you might be able to sneak him into the top end of the second round if it's a super flex league that goes quarterback heavy to start. Um, but his upside is running back one, but the gap between what his running back one would be and running backs 2, 3, and 4, like he's not that much better than Jonathan Taylor anymore. I don't think he's that much better than Dalvin Cook. Like, so the gap has shrunk quite a bit. On top of, you never know what you're going to get out of, why am I blanking on, out of a guy like Najee, right? And just kind of push him there in that top 5. So great player. Really the best player to own as far as the Panthers go when healthy. But you're just going to have to take that gamble because the last 2 seasons say his body is wearing down on him, and you're going to have to draft a backup plan right away, as opposed to some of these where fluke injuries pop up where you have to play it on the fly.
The issue with McCaffrey, obviously, he can't stay healthy, but he's so dang effective when he is on the field that, is it worth the risk of you only getting him for 4 or 5 games? I think he's played 10 games the last 2 seasons combined. Like that's it. And so, that's the risk. You spend really high draft capital on this guy, and it's great when he is playing, but he isn't playing, as much as he is. So that really, there's a lot to consider when you think about Christian McCaffrey. I mean, for 2 years, guys, he was automatic number one. Don't even think twice. Hit draft, move on. And that's not the case anymore with him.
Yeah, you guys have hit this one, and I'm not going to spend much more time here other than to say that Christian McCaffrey is one of the rare players out there that can finish in a top 5 positional, weekly ranking for fantasy and not score a touchdown. Like there's very few players that can do that. You look week 1 last year, finished running back number 1 on the week and didn't score a touchdown. Week 10 would finish number 5 on the week, didn't score a touchdown. And there's very few players out there that can do that. And I think that you're going to see Carolina potentially try and do a little bit more of a committee this year than what we've seen in the past. So I think that there is some reason to potentially try and temper the expectations here a little bit. Them bringing in some of the guys that they've brought in and some of the pieces that are now in this running back room. I think that they are going to, I don't think you're going to see him really get a 100% workload type of thing like we've seen in the past. I think you're probably going to see him more around a 75% type of workload. To that point, right, he still will be a top 5 back. But again, I don't think that the distance between him and the other running backs in that kind of tier is much of a gap anymore at all.